Hey everybody, so I got such a big reaction to these braids, and they were just off the top of the dome. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my last model, but we tried it and it worked out. So this time I'm working on my sister, and just to give you guys a semi-short tutorial on how I do my stitched box braids. And right here is where I start to show you where I parted it out right behind her ears. We did 3 layers on her instead of the 4 layers, just for time purposes and because she has recently had a semi-tapered cut in the back. So her hair was a little shorter, so we had to make her boxes a little bigger. So right here, I'm just going to basically show you how the bottom braids are stitched out and how much hair approximately I use for each piece. Usually I just try to make each piece of feed-in I use, each piece of braiding hair I use the same size so that they don't get too fat at the bottom and they don't start off too big at the top. We still want to show that cascade of feed-in and still be able to have the stitches wide enough. So for this part right here, I sectioned off 3 spots just to give an example of how to part it and stagger it. So clean up everything, put your product down, line it up, get your parts nice and straight. Then I lined the comb up a couple of times with the top of the braid just to show you where the top of the bottom braid is going to line up exactly with your part. That way you can make sure that as you're braiding down your feed-in, it lays right between each part. Again, just clean it up, both sides. And then right here in a couple of seconds is when I basically showed when you're braiding down and you're doing your one box and you're doing all your stitches. Once you get to the bottom of the box, make sure you pull up that last piece of hair. So you'll see I'll pull on the last piece of hair right there, and that basically ensures everything stays tight from the top to the bottom. And if it's not, it'll be loose, and we don't want anything loose. So right here is what I meant by at the bottom of each box, make sure you pull up the hair. So when I got down to the left side of my hand, I made sure I turned my hands over so that way you can make sure that it lays so that that hump that happens at the bottom of the box does not happen. And then when your braids are finished and you dip them, they don't look like they're lifting up at the bottom. Like I said, this is my sister, so we have fun doing this video. We listen to music, she read her book. It took a little while, but she bared with me, and I'm glad you guys are getting a chance to see how much detail goes into these braids and the stitches, and I really hope you're enjoying this video because I enjoyed making it. When you start your stitches at the top of the part, make sure it lines up with the part. So that way each stitch is just perfectly even with the stitch in the braid before. So this is why I part out the very top of the hair that I'm going to start grabbing first, and just so you're able to line it up with the braid before, and it still looks cute. And then just like you would with the Pop Smoke braids, this is why everybody wants to call them the Pop Smoke braids, which is cool with me. I'm fine. Have at it. Change the name to whatever you like. I put them in the front of the ear so it lays. So that way when you go to do your top and your last one, that one's going to go in front of that one. I'm sure y'all are seeing by now how I loop the hair over my wrist, and that's only, everybody has their own way of doing it. That's just my way of doing it because I just feel like the hair ends up coming out so much neater, and little frays and little flyaways from the braiding hair don't get crossed over into each loop around in your braid. So it just makes it easier for me to cross the hair and hold it over my wrist, and I flip it over to my right wrist. It just makes everything all in between the braid a lot nice and neater. That's just my own personal preference. These stitches were coming out so bomb and so neat. She even had to look up at the camera real quick and check them out herself because they were so laid. So this part here was pretty much just a wrap up. This is the last braid I showed on camera. I didn't really think I needed to show the last one because they're all pretty much the same stitching. Smooth all the hair out. Make sure you tuck the last piece up into the bottom of your square. All the detail was the same. The stitches were the same. I used the same amount of braiding hair. I told you how I crossed over right here, my hair, just because I feel like, you know, it's the easiest way for me. Everybody does things their own way. Feel free to keep on doing it your own way. I'm just here to show you how I do it. My nephew snuck in the corner. They were all pretty much over it. It took us a little while. And this is the final wrap up. I wrapped it with the paper, smoothed everything down. I used the Magic Fingers Hair Studio wax the gel, as well as my go-to edge wax by Murray's. Everything comes out really smooth, really shiny with the Magic Fingers Hair Studio. These were the final looks, the final pictures. I hope you guys enjoyed the video as much as me and my sister enjoyed making it for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to hit me up on Instagram, hit me up on Facebook. I'll put the tags for each of those, my social media, in the end of the video. Like, subscribe, comment. You know, go easy on me. This is my first time making a YouTube video, so, you know, don't get too judgy on me. Thank you guys so much for watching.